Gannon's bill would discourage businesses from posting signs stating that firearms and other weapons are prohibited on the premises. That option was part of Wisconsin's concealed carry law. License holders who violate the restrictions can be subject to a fine of up to $1,000. To encourage businesses to allow concealed carry, the concealed carry law provided owners immunity from any liability from any gun incident on the premises. But the law didn't address liability in the opposite scenario, a business that posts a weapons ban and has a gun incident. Under Gannon's bill, the liability would attach automatically. In other words, if someone with a gun, a concealed carry permit holder or otherwise, injured or killed someone inside a store that had a sign prohibiting weapons, the business who had the sign would be on the hook for triple the damages to any victims.
You want to discourage me from discouraging others from bringing guns into my place of business. Is that correct, sir?
As a business owner or as any individual in this country, you have a responsibility to those that you invite into your property to keep them safe. And when you take away their ability to defend themselves, sir, the trial courts are probably going to hold you responsible anyway. I'm expediting it, and I think the Democrats are always been fans of taking care of those that have been harmed by others. This is just going to make it quicker to let the victims get quickly compensated for their injury. You have now supplanted their ability to defend themselves. Now you must defend them. That's all the law says. The law says you can do whatever you want, Mr. Business Owner, property owner. Go ahead, Mr. Baggy Pants. You could make the rules.
Well, Bob, a life preserver is quite a bit different than perhaps a kid at the water park with a gun, sir.
Don't start this, a kid with a gun. Somebody asked
Okay,
me
bad
today,
analogy, Bob, but let me. Well, what if my business, sir, is the child care center? I got one on the corner of right across the street from me. Is that person also supposed to allow concealed carry people to bring guns into their place of business? And if they put up the signs, Bob, would you also hold those business owners to liability?
I would hold them to maybe 5 times. I should probably change it. Because if you put up a sign not allowing your guests, adult guests that are licensed to be concealed carry holders, to defend themselves and their family, and their little children, their babies are hurt by somebody carrying, and you don't think they should be held responsible for not allowing those babies to be protected? You're not understanding the law. The law
no,
is
apparently
very
not,
clear.
sir. Don't I have the right to refuse service to anyone I want? If I put up a sign...
Yes, you do, unless you're making a cake for a gay couple. Any court, there's a good chance in any court you're going to be held liable for the safety of your guests when you take away their ability. That's like telling your kids they can't have a seatbelt and then acting, boy, I'm shocked you had a head injury when you ran it into the windshield.
See, I don't understand that analogy either, Bob.
Does this apply to Lambeau Field? Does this apply to the new Bucks Arena?
Of course it does. Why would it not? And here's what's going on, is that State Fair Park and Summerfest, they're dealing with their exposure. And that's what I'm going to encourage businesses to do. If Mike's little business is so afraid of an adult with a firearm, then all Mike has to do is put a metal detector, like State Fair and Lambeau Field. And
that's cost prohibitive to a small business owner,
Bob.
Too
bad, so sad.
But Bob, what about the Republicans being the party of less government, smaller government, more efficient government, less regulation? Isn't this imposing a greater hassle upon the liberty and the individual rights of a person deciding on their own volition at great risk to engage in commerce in their community? Why do something?
Yeah,
Why add a greater level of regulation, sir?
And I absolutely agree with you. But just so you know, my day business or my other job is property and liability insurance. Businesses make this decision every day on how they want to deal with risk transfer and loss control. If you want to pay a higher premium and transfer your risk of your guest safety to an insurance carrier, feel free to write the check. If you don't want to write the check, let your guests defend themselves. It's very simple. I'm expecting insurance carriers in Wisconsin, once this passes, to ask their clients, are you prohibiting weapons? If you're prohibiting weapons, what are you doing to keep your guests safe? We ask these questions every day, whether it's swimming pools, do they have lifeguards, do you have lights in the parking lot for the guests not to trip? We ask all kinds of lots.
How about requiring concealed carry holders who are walking around with weapons, how about making them insure their liability, sir?
And it is covered by their homeowner's policy. So you've been babbling on for something that is covered for the vast majority of responsible Americans.
Yeah.
And just because we don't have this law that I'm proposing now to protect the safety of our citizens and allow them quick compensation in the event they are injured in an accident. I thought liberals cared about people being hurt. Anyway, just because we're doing this does not change the law. A concealed carry holder is responsible for financial damage that anybody is due, as is a business owner. This doesn't change that. This
Bob,
just expedites and lets the harmed people get compensated for those injuries so they can pay their grocery bill, take care of their children. They've been seriously harmed because a liberal Democrat wouldn't let them defend themselves.
Bob, you got any co-sponsors on this bill?
Not that I will tell you about, but yes, I do. The main reason I put this out today was because we're getting all this baloney with the Democrats singing along again. See, the Democrats think they can deal with violence by having sing-alongs and big food buffets at the in the House of Representatives in Washington, D.C. They do that in Milwaukee, too, you know. They march around, they sing, and then they stop and have lunch, and they think that's dealing with violence. This is actually a proposal to deal with violence. Instead of just babbling about it on the radio or in your marching circles and you're singing along at the state capitol, here's a proposal to actually put a
Bob,
weapon in
let me ask you
in a
real quick.
responsible citizen's hand to defend Americans.